Okay, cool. Interview with JP, color reference, marking. JP, I've always wanted to interview you. I've seen your name in the news numerous times, and it's usually JP Smith. Mayoral Committee Member. What is your title now?
Mayoral Committee Member for Safety and Security and Events for the City of Cape Town.
Okay, right. What does that mean?
The events hat I'm wearing here this morning. So most of the time I'm responsible for traffic, law enforcement and Metro Police. So traffic and by law enforcement, Metro Police, our fire and emergency rescue services, disaster risk management, the Public Emergency Communications Centre, our information management service, our investigative service, and a couple of other bits and bobs on the side. The hat I'm wearing here this morning is the Formal Events Office. The city is a sponsor of the Innovation Summit, a proud sponsor, and we believe in their mission.
Perfect. So just a quick personal question. It feels like public officials normally love a little bit of torture. You guys are in the news always, and it always seems like you can't keep everyone happy. How does that?
I think you have to be a slightly tormented soul to do this job, at least to do it for a while. It does eat your sanity if you let it, and it does consume your existence. So it does take a special person to endure in this space over time. I've now been in local government for 24 years, going on 25 now, and I love local government. I have no ambition to be anywhere else. I really believe that's where the rubber hits the road, but it is not an easy space to work because you do not have the agility or swift-footedness or control that the private sector has, that if you're the captain of industry or you're in business for yourself, and you have this big interface with this large captive clientele, the public whose city you are running for them, and every 5 years you have to go through this very public contract renewal called an election, and hope that the people have understood and seen what you're doing, and you're always doing it with a fraction of the budget you should have.
It's always been interesting to me that 5-year type of contract, that's a very small amount to get wheels turning in government specifically.
Meaningful change, substantive change, deep-seated change that starts fundamentally changing the nature of a problem. Minimum 10 years, probably 20 years. Cape Town was not in a great state when I joined the city in 2000 to 2006. Lots of challenges. We started getting the better of some of those problems then. But I can tell you nothing changes meaningfully or substantively in 10 years. So there is the idea that we're going to elect party A, they're going to fix things in a year, everything must look different. To move budgets, to change things, to change the way a city works, where its priorities lie, how its staff are, where its staff are deployed, how the staff are trained, what equipment they use, what innovation they deploy. Those are slow things. And part of the challenge of local government is just having the endurance with a capital E to just survive the painful snail's pace at which things grow. You really have to be very patient and then have many things and think, because if you're doing these solutions sequentially, you'll do one or two a term. So you have to have many pokers in the fire at the same time, continuously nudging each one forward, try and get these things to change. Procurement, as I just bemoaned inside during my introduction, is a particularly painful space. I was explaining to you now how it took us 24 months to renew a CCTV tender, 6 years to do to procure an app for neighborhood watches to be an extension of our control room. Technology procurement in government now is incredibly frustrating. It's a space that needs significant legal review.
I think you've touched on a bunch of points, that constant scrutiny. I don't know how you guys deal with it, and then the turning of the wheels being that slow. But speaking of partnerships specifically, and thinking, coming back to innovation, how important is partnerships with private firms, private companies in getting some of these goals and objectives for fuels across the line?
So government must do what it does best. It's not a technology developer. We have, incidentally, in the city developed a piece of technology called EPIC, our Emergency Police Incident Command System, our computer-aided dispatch platform, unique in local government in South Africa, the only local authority that has a meaningful iteration or solution around computer-aided dispatching that ensures that all your operational resources, that you know where they are, what they're doing, and that they're efficiently deployed. We coded that inside the civic center, by and large, and with the help of the private sector. But most of your stuff, you're buying solutions that you're going out to the private sector for. And you are often coming up with solutions that we need and sometimes things we don't need.
Yeah.
So every day somebody calls me trying to sell us something. And I have to say that, look, we have to go through these commercial procurement process, a competitive procurement process. There is no shortcut for it. There's no unsolicited bid that we can adopt. This is where I think many of the IT people get very frustrated, is selling things to government. The mechanisms by which we have to do so are slow and cumbersome, and it doesn't reward innovation. You come with a good idea, we have to put a tender out. We cannot do a deal directly with you. So I think that there are things within government procurement legislation that is not supporting innovation, that's not driving innovation. We over-legislate things like the drone legislation, Section 101 of the Civil Aviation Act, horribly overwrought and overwritten, needlessly so.
Absolutely.
We have, Sweden's legislation in the bottom tip of Africa. So there is modernization required in some of our legislation, deregulation required, but the private sector is essential. So in that room over there, in the summit today, sits many of the people who will come up with solutions, which in 10 years we will go, oh, remember that problem? That was only a problem until we figured out how to do X or Y. And so every now and again, somebody presents us something that completely meets our needs.
Yeah.
Sometimes, though, I don't think the private sector knows what our needs are. So what I said in there a moment ago is that I would work gladly with TIA or Innovation Summit to host a little mini summit that brings local authorities together for us to say to you, this is where we are struggling. These are the technology solutions we need. I need a camera on Hospital Bend that can by itself tell when vehicles are crossing a solid barrier line and should be fined and not have to have officers on scene to do it.
I think that's from a public perspective, it's very easy to judge the slow turning wheels of government, but then again, your mandate is to firstly spend taxpayer money properly and appropriately, and then, but most of all, keep our communities safe, keep them connected, build more resilient communities, and looking into the future,
Keep in mind, Cape Town is the only metro this year that got a clean audit. So it's very hard to stay on the clean audit side, to have no technical flaws in your procurement process, but still to be innovative. The legislation just doesn't reward it.
Absolutely. Right, let's quickly look towards the future. You're here today, we're innovating, we're solving challenges through innovation. What do you hope to see with partnerships within government over the next couple of years?
So we have a mayor who's very technology and innovation focused. We have senior leadership in the city that embraces technology and seeks it out. So within this space are all of our favorite people who are going to come up with the future solutions and help them. But this particular platform is about finding those innovators and helping them through that entrepreneurial life cycle from incubation to getting a product on the shelf, because I think that's where many technology innovators fail and startups fail. They have a good idea, but making it a viable business proposition is a whole different kettle of fish. And surviving government procurement is especially difficult, never mind going out to the private sector and putting something in on the shelf of a shop. So this is the right space. We do need to nurture those people so they don't give up along the way, and they do end up coming with an end product that we can support. Just keep on doing what you're doing. I am a proud geek. I'm infatuated by technology, and so this is a space where I really do feel at home among my fellow geeks. I do really believe that the geek shall inherit the earth, and amongst in this room sits people who will come up with solutions to problems that we are struggling with. So go get it.
Perfect. That's it. You're up.
Dankie meneer.
Dis 'n plesier. Dankie julle. That's 'n kat.